Well, I don't usually do this, but I have to say congratulations to Darren Godson. This is the fourth time he's won. I don't know how long you guys have been playing this, but in the last 3.5 years, Darren there, 3.5 years ago, won a Bentley Continental GT and 20 grand in the Dream Car competition, and the Bentley was worth 160,000 then. Since then, he's won a New York holiday, he's won a Range Rover Evoque and 20 grand, and now he's won $250,000. So, fair play to Darren. That's brilliant. Well done. Right, so how did I do this week? Well, my two crosses I did were in Zone 1. Weirdly, when you look at my crosses there, they look as though they're in Zone 2. However, I spent £12.70 and had £12.70 back. So they were obviously in Zone 1 because I had all my money back. I only done two crosses. I'm quite pleased, actually, with where they are because it's in the line of sight. The guy, Sean Penn on the right there, if you look through his line of sight there, would go through the winning cross, and up to mine, I'd just gone sort of too far over to the left, and I'm pretty sure the average is quite close as well. So here's the judging for this week. Quite spread out, actually, quite wide across left to right. We knew there'd be a cluster around this area. That seemed to be the obvious point. We didn't have many coordinates submitted last week, but they were all roughly in the same area, well, apart from one. So we can see there's two there, there's five there, and there's one over on the left there. Not sure yet how many they'll take out. They will take that one out to the left because it's too far away from this cluster here. And it will narrow that band down as well. I'm not sure about these two on the right. Now that would leave a cluster of 5, and I don't think they'd go with 5. That would. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what the judges did. Yeah, they just took that one out from the left and drew new lines. So as you can see, the lines from the guy on the right, they're quite narrow, as we sort of expected them to be. But now they've taken that stray one out on the left, it's really narrowed this one down as well. So there's 7 of them. One thing I've got to say here is Darren's advice why he wins regularly. Now, it seems to work, and yet it doesn't make sense to me. He says that he draws lines from the top and the bottom of the player's ears, and it gives an insight into where the eye line is looking. Now, that in itself makes sense, but that would only work, surely, if all the judges were doing exactly the same thing. I mean, look at this situation here. We've got 7 crosses left in there, and not many of them are anywhere near the other ones. So they haven't done what Darren does. And yet, obviously, he's won. And this is the 4th time that he's won. Well, that's actually the 3rd time that he's won a Spot the Ball game, even though he's won 4 prizes, because one of them was the lifestyle that they used to tell you about on a Friday. But yeah, well done to Darren. And let's have a look at this week's picture then. So my first look at this picture, when you look at the position of these two players and the look on their faces, this is a 2023 remake of Brokeback Mountain, set in a football world, starring Matt LeBlanc. Let that sink in for a minute. So, my cross, I've got one cross there at the moment. I've moved that 6 times already, and it's only Tuesday. Because I couldn't get the eye lines to line up and to cross over each other. So, let me tell you why I've put it there. Because, we draw some lines. Now, if I look at this fella in the front here, his eye is looking sort of roughly sort of straight up, isn't it? But his other eye is looking to his left, along that sort of angle there. So I would take from that the ball must be reasonably close to his head. But his head is tilted quite back, a lot. And the guy at the back, I couldn't really get, Joey Tribbiani there, I couldn't really get him to cross over. But his head is tilted, leaning slightly to the right, his right. So he would be looking slightly in this direction. So at the moment, I think the judges would go more for the player in the front, whereas his one eye is looking up there and his other eye is looking across there. So that's where I've gone at the moment. But like I said, I've moved it 6 times since yesterday, so goodness knows where it would end up at the end of the week. I might wait and see what the average is from you guys, and and go from there. But I've been further over to the right, I've been lower down, much closer to his head, then I've gone back up, then I think I went back to the right, and now I'm sort of back there at the moment because I had to make a decision like I did 2 weeks ago when I'd done the one cross and I couldn't get the eyesights to cross over then. And I thought the judges are going to go by one of the players' eyesight. And I picked the player on the right, and it turns out I had zone one, but it could have been the player on the left. And in this case, I think they're going to go for this guy at the front here, and they're going to focus on where he's looking. But that's just my guess, from a person who's never won and has never had a runner-up either. So let's do the same thing, guys. Leave a comment in the comment section and submit your coordinate. Now, we only had 5 plus my coordinate last week, so it'd be nice if we could have a few more, because this is a bit of a trickier picture this week. So if we can get up to about 10 or 12, that's great, because I mean there's 8 judges, so even 8 or 9 would be fine. So don't have to rush it. Leave it till the end of the week if you want. As long as we get a coordinate before Saturday, we can have a good look at an average. So well done again to Darren, and good luck to you guys, and I'll reply to you in the comments. Cheers everyone, good luck.